You've had that light bulb moment, right? That little spark of an idea where you think, hey, could this actually be a business? Well, today we're going to explore that exact feeling. We're diving into the amazing world of entrepreneurship and what it really takes to turn a simple idea into something real.
So, when you picture an entrepreneur, what do you see? Some tech genius in a garage? Well, how about this? A 10-year-old kid hatching chickens on top of a warm TV and then selling the eggs. It sounds made up, but this was the actual first business for a guy named Fraser Doherty. It's just a perfect way to remember that great business ideas, well, they can start just about anywhere. All right, so from chickens and eggs, Fraser's journey took a much sweeter turn. We're going to look at his most famous creation, Super Jam. This story is just a fantastic example of how a really simple, almost old-fashioned idea can be turned into a huge success with a little bit of fresh thinking and a whole lot of passion. So what does that path from a kitchen to a supermarket shelf actually look like? Well, as you can see, this was not an overnight thing. It all started when he was 14, just learning how to make jam with his grandmother. Then, in his mid-teens, he innovated, he perfected a healthier recipe that was 100% fruit. And then came the big, brave step. As a young adult, he actually pitched Super Jam to a major supermarket. It's a journey of learning, making things better, and having some courage. Fraser's story, from the chickens all the way to the jam, is a perfect way to launch into a much bigger question. What's the real thread here? What does it actually mean to be an entrepreneur? When you really boil it all down, entrepreneurship is about one thing: solving problems. Now, it could be a smaller problem like, hey, this jam has way too much sugar. Or it could be a massive, world-changing challenge. Entrepreneurs are just the people who see those problems, those little gaps in the world, and they feel this drive to create a solution. Okay, so let's look at the official textbook definition for a second. As you see here, entrepreneurship is a process. It's the whole journey of designing, launching, and running a new business. So it's not just about having the idea, it's about all the work that comes after, building something from nothing into a real, functioning company. So why on earth do people take this leap? What really motivates them? Well, if you look at these common reasons, a few things pop out. Of course, there's that desire for freedom, to be your own boss. There's the passion to bring your own unique idea to life. And yeah, of course, financial rewards are on the list. But look at that last one. It's just as powerful: the desire to make a real, honest-to-goodness difference in the world. And if you want a perfect example of that, look no further than John Wood. This guy had a super successful, high-paying job at Microsoft, but he was so passionate about getting books to kids who needed them that he started selling his own stock to buy books and build schools, all before he even quit his day job. That's what it looks like when a mission is the real engine driving you. We all have this picture in our heads of what an entrepreneur is supposed to be. But a lot of those common ideas are actually just myths. So let's spend a minute busting a few of the biggest ones about starting a business. The first big myth: that entrepreneurs are just born different, that you either have the entrepreneur gene or you don't. But the reality is, that's just not true. Entrepreneurship isn't some magic power, it's a set of skills. Things like problem solving and planning, skills that anyone can learn and get better at over time. Then you have this idea of the entrepreneur as a reckless gambler, just betting the whole farm on some crazy idea. The truth is pretty much the exact opposite. Successful entrepreneurs are masters of the calculated risk. They do their homework, they test their ideas, and they do everything they can to lower the risk before they make a big move. And finally, there's the myth that it's all about the money. Now, don't get me wrong, financial success is great, but it's rarely the main thing that gets people out of bed in the morning. More often than not, the money is just a result of chasing something deeper, a real passion for solving a problem, or just a powerful sense of purpose. So if you're feeling inspired to maybe take that plunge, does that mean you have to do it all by yourself? The answer is a huge no. Today, there's a whole ecosystem, a toolkit you could call it, that's designed to help new startups get off the ground. And a really key part of that support system is the startup incubator. The name kind of says it all. Like an incubator for a baby chick, it provides a warm, safe, nurturing environment that a brand new company needs to survive and grow in those first critical stages. So what do you actually get from these incubators? Well, as you can see, it's a pretty powerful mix of stuff. They offer seed funding. That's the first bit of cash you need to get going. They give you office space, so you have a real place to work. And maybe most importantly, they plug you into a network of mentors and other founders who can give you advice that is absolutely priceless. And we know this model works. Organizations like Y Combinator and Techstars have become legendary in the startup world. They've been the launch pads for some incredibly successful companies that we all know and probably use every day. It just proves how valuable this kind of support really is.
And that brings us right back around to where we started. Every single entrepreneurial journey begins with an idea. And what is an idea, really? It's just a potential solution to a problem that you've spotted out there in the world.
The amazing thing about entrepreneurship is that it can look like, well, anything. It can be about creating a whole new fitness experience, like SoulCycle did. Or it can be about building a community online to help people with medical conditions, like patients like me. The industry doesn't matter. The common thread is always there, seeing a need and building a new way to meet it. At the end of the day, every great business starts with someone noticing a problem or a frustration and thinking, you know what, there has to be a better way. It's all about seeing an opportunity to make something better, easier, or more meaningful. So the last question we'll leave you with is this. In a world full of challenges and opportunities, what problem will you solve?